What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus, and after such a long time, I am back in front of the camera. Hey, thanks for still coming back to my channel, even though, of course, my upload schedule is basically non-existent. But it's now almost exactly 1 month ago that I got this thingy here, and I wanted to just make a quick update kind of video about my channel, about myself. I wanted to say thank you to everybody that rooted for me during Worlds, of course, since I don't think I did that yet. So, yeah, thanks a lot. Also at the event, every single one of you that I met there, I really appreciated it. And yeah, Worlds in total was just a phenomenal experience and hang out with everybody and so on. But yeah, Worlds is always amazing. If you have the chance to go at some point, then definitely do that. And yeah, so once again, thanks. I am so happy about and also proud about what I was able to achieve there. And of course, to Wolfie, of course, big congratulations that he was finally able to get that title. I did not make any report or video on my team since, yeah, in fact, I was using almost the identical team that Wolf used, and he was featured in so many interviews and on YouTube and videos, and he also has a fantastic video on his own YouTube channel that covers basically what we were trying to achieve in team building and also in playing with the team, how our EV spreads worked. And since I was using 4 identical Pokemon with him with the same EV spreads, and only 2 of mine had like some slight deviation because we valued some different things, but in the end, that didn't really come into effect too often, I think. Except for in our semifinal battle, where yeah, we both knew that his Kyogre would be faster than my Kyogre, so I don't know. I basically already had like I went into the set thinking that I would lose, but and in the end I did, of course. But yeah, whatever. Let's not talk about that. Let's look into the future because yeah, the second part of this video, after me just talking a little bit, will be about the upcoming season, 2017 or 16 and 17, whatever you want to call it. It'll be great. We saw some major changes, and yeah, I don't know, talk a little bit about my opinions about the CP payout and so on. So if you are interested into that, then just stick around a little bit. So besides also, yeah, what I'm going to do with my channel. Okay, so I was thinking like, okay, I will go back into uploads with markers on top once Battlesport changes back to VGC16. However, the season, once it is over, I don't know what it's called, turbo single battle thing, will stay around for another season. So yeah, no VGC16 on Battlesport for yet another season, which is pretty unfortunate. Especially for content creators, because it makes it super difficult to come up with cool ways. I mean, I don't know, if you have any cool idea where I could battle or what I could record, I don't know. I think I'm not the type of person, like, I don't benefit from YouTube, like, financially. I don't get anything from doing that, so for me, it's not about making videos because I, like, have to, you know? So I just upload whenever I feel like it, and I hope that you guys are cool with that. So I don't know, like, I could do videos on Showdown, but what's the point, you know? And I could also battle friends and then make videos about that, but I don't know. I feel like just having the ladder available on Battlespot is just the easiest way to experiment around a little bit, test unusual teams, and run into strong opponents. Try to climb up. I don't know. I just feel like that's just something that I enjoy doing as for videos, and it's also something that improved or helped me improve as a player. Just playing on Battlespot with different teams so often that, yeah, definitely helped me get into the format even more. So then after I commentated Nationals, I could just go into the grind for Worlds and build a cool team with Wolf, and then, yeah, just do as well as I did. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me to just come up with cool stuff. Like I like doing stuff like this video that I'm doing right now, just talking a little bit about stuff. But I'm not sure if it's that interesting for you guys. Just let me know in the comments what you think about that. So also, I don't want to reveal all my hidden secrets that I still have in store for VGC16, since there will still be some tournaments happening before the release of Sun and Moon, but we will get into that in just a little bit, as of course most of you probably know, all information in terms of prizes, championship points and so on for the next season has been revealed. So I will go over some of the major changes that happened there, and I will give you my opinion about them. If you want a good video, detail like about all the details, everything that's changed, then go ahead and watch Aaron Cybertron Zhang's video. He also already has a big video covering every single aspect, everything you need to know for the upcoming season. What I'm going to do is I'll probably have some similar sheets like he had, but I will just talk a little bit about my opinions. So yeah, I don't know, just stick around if you want to, and if not, then see you then. So you probably also might want to go in full screen mode since some of the... Actually, no, actually it should be fine. Some of the numbers are a little bit small though. So, okay. So, one major mistake that I have realized in some of the first opinions people gave on this distribution in terms of championship points is that people do not take the CP bar into account appropriately. So the way I see it, every single season, the CP payout, like, it's different, you know, like you can't just easily compare one to another. You can't be like, oh wow, Premier Challenges, for example, they used to give 40 championship points, and then they only gave 20 if you won them. And then some people said, like that was between last season and the season before, some people were like, oh wow, they're cutting the importance of Premier Challenges in half. They're not worth that much anymore because they gave less CP. But you always have to see the bigger picture there, and that they also changed the CP payouts for nationals back then, for regionals, and so on. So, of course, they gave less CP, but that doesn't mean that they are worth less, because it all comes down to what the best finish limit is, how many points you need to qualify for Worlds. And so here we do see the CP bar for Worlds. Thankfully, that was announced right with all the other championship point stuff, which is a very important thing in my opinion, because that means that everybody can plan their season. They can think about whether it's worth going to, for example, a Premier Challenge that is happening, like, I don't know, 3 hours drive away from them. Like, if you want to play for the day one invite, I mean, sure, like, if you have the free time and you can go and just enjoy playing there, and you know that you'll have a good day, then sure, go ahead. But if you just want to think about whether it's actually worth for you just going for the championship points, then yeah, like, just doing some quick calculations and thinking about how many championship points you need to qualify for Worlds Day 1, if that is your goal, is very, very helpful. So seeing this right here, yeah, there is still differences between the different rating zones. For example, US and Canada and Europe, you need 500 CP in Masters, and 400 in Latin America and Asian Pacific, and in South Africa you need 300 championship points. So good luck to all the players there. And yeah, so the major thing here from me as a European player is the fact that they equaled the amount of CP that you need for US and Canada and Europe. Last year you needed 350 points in US and Canada and 275 in Europe. Yeah, everyone thought that in Europe especially it was a little bit low. You basically got your invite. You could get your invite just from nationals. You could get it just from a mediocre nationals finish and a decent regionals finish, or just like average finishes in your local tournaments and Premier Challenges, some mid-season showdowns, some regionals, and then some nationals. Like, you would usually, if you played in all your tournaments, you could get your invite pretty handily. Now, as I mentioned before, you can't just be like, oh wow, now you need 500 points. That's almost double the amount from last season, because of course they also adjusted the championship points that you get from all of the other tournaments. So you have to keep in mind that yeah, you have to look at everything individually, and you can't just compare this season to last season in terms of the payouts. However, you can compare it to stuff like here on this table. So yeah, as I said, Europe and Canada and the US need the same amount of championship points, which is kind of interesting, because of course that could mean that we would roughly have the same amount of tournaments, of course, in both areas, because that is what you need for it to be an equal and fair system. However, since things in Europe and the US are still a little bit different, I will go into that in just a couple of more sheets, I think. It might be tough, I would say, because, okay, so the way it works in the US is they have this tournament organizer system that has been established over for so many years from the trading card game. Then people would shift over to the video game, and it's been really settled there. They're the tournament organizers themselves. They organize regionals, for example, with little to no help from the Pokemon Company, as far as I know. Like maybe they help them here and there, but it's totally different in Europe, where there are there are different companies that help the Pokemon Company International to organize those regionals, and it's not just one TO that does the regionals, but it's like a whole company behind it. I will talk about that in a second. And also for Premier Challenges, we just don't have the numbers in Europe. And as for same for mid-season showdowns. And last year, the mid-season showdowns were not really worth too many points, since they shared the same best finish limit with regionals. And by the time, for example, for me, the first or only mid-season showdown I attended, by the time that happened, I couldn't even get any more points from that, even if I had won it, because my worst regionals finish was a top 16 at that time. And top 16 gave 92 championship points. Winning a mid-season showdown gave 90 points. So basically, there was no point in me even showing up to play, but I came anyways just for the fun, you know. So maybe some of the tournament organizers that held mid-season showdowns last year, they were a little bit disappointed with the turn-up, and so they might consider not hosting one again. But I don't know. We will see how it'll turn out. But I'm a little bit afraid that maybe it will be too difficult for people in Europe, or it will be more difficult for people in Europe to get the day one invite compared with people in the US. However, that does not necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. I'm one of the persons that is of the opinion that getting into Worlds should be difficult. It shouldn't be like extremely difficult. Like back in the day, 2012 and prior, even 2013 and prior, you basically had to get top 4 at nationals in Europe in order to be able to play at Worlds. And so yeah, that I'm not a fan of that either. But you should have some decent finishes. Like, I mean, of course, everyone that was in Worlds last year, they kind of like deserved it in some kind of way. Either they played so many tournaments or whatever. But I feel like you have to have at least like one or two good, like really good finishes. Like, I don't know, let's say it top 8 at a regional, top 16 at a national. Like, those are like the finishes that I think should give you a Worlds invite, but not like if you attend 3 regionals and you get top 32 in all of them, and then you attend nationals and you go top 64 or even worse than that. I don't know. I don't know. But of course, everyone has their different opinions. There is the day 1 and day 2 system, which is kind of cool. So there is still some difference in the invitations you can get. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it'll work out this season. So talking about day 1 and day 2, here are what you need to do in order to qualify for that second day of competition. Unfortunately, as you can see at the very bottom line here, players with invitations from the 2016 World Championships will play on Friday unless they qualify for day 2 based on 2017 championship points. That includes me, since I got 3rd place. I did get an invitation for next year's Worlds. However, as you can see there, also same applies for Wolf, Jonathan, and Edu, as well as everybody else from other age divisions. We will play day 1. Unless we qualify for day 2. So that is, in my opinion, a little bit unfortunate, since it means that either I will just have to accept playing in day 1, which I managed to deal with that quite well this year, but you never know for next year. And of course, playing in day 2 is always what you want to achieve if you want to go as far as possible into the tournament. So I would have preferred getting a day 2 invite, obviously, and also same for Wolf. And also Edu and John probably would have preferred getting the day 2 invite, as well as everybody in seniors. Since last year the top 4 consisted of only Japanese players. All of them had a day 2 invite, since their system operates differently from ours. They do not have championship points and so on. So they just automatically got into day 2, and they weren't allowed to play nationals and like some other stuff. But yeah, it's different for us. We still have to play, and they want us to play, is what I'm getting from this. So yeah, okay, I guess I will try my best to go into day 2, or maybe I'll just be happy with the day 1 invitation. Depends on how the first couple of events go, I think. So, however, some cool news for everyone from Latin America and Asia Pacific. they increased the amount of day 2 invites to 8 for both of those regions. For US and Canada, it stays the same at 8, and Europe, it stays the same at 16. So I'm happy that both of those rating zones, Latin America as well as Asia Pacific, they get some more love here. Last year, especially, there was some weird scenario since they had like a couple of national tournaments, so then even the national champions didn't have a chance to qualify for day 2, which is a little bit unfortunate. So I think it's cool that they yeah, stocked up until 8, and also with the major change, the internationals that I will be talking about in a little bit. Yeah, that is very helpful, of course, for those rating zones, and I'm really happy for them. Maybe I would have preferred seeing the US and Canada being upped to 16 as well, but since yeah, most of their since Worlds will be in the US, most of the day 1 invitees will be able to participate in the event, so they can go there, and as we saw this year, they still so many people from the US made it through day 1, and so many from them also made it into the top cut. In fact, 12 out of the 24 people in top cut were from the US. So yeah, it wasn't really too bad for them that they only had 8 people in day 2, I would say. And then also Japan and South Korea once again will operate under some different things. There is the Pokemon Company and the Pokemon Company Korea, I think, that take care of these countries. So unfortunately, the dream of having like Japan fight for championship points at the internationals is probably not a given yet. But maybe that'll change in the future. Maybe not. Yeah, we will see about that. So, but that also confirms that there will be 2 days of competition once again, just like last year, and yeah, which is cool in my opinion. So moving on, we do see the big change for the season, the international championships. Okay, so there was a rumor about this for the trading card game for forever, since what they had was that every single country could host their national championships, and they were region locked. So you couldn't go there and participate like in the video game where you could just fly to wherever you wanted, but instead you could only play in your home country. So that was a little bit unfair because they gave the same amount of CP, for example, a tournament with 12 players. The winner would get exactly the same as winning a tournament with, say, 150 players. So with these internationals now, everyone has the same shot at making it into the top 22, which is in Europe what you need for your paid invite for Worlds. But yeah, same of course applies also to the video game now. So no more nationals, at least not in the way that we used to have them. So the first international championships will be in London from 9th to 11th December, which is fairly soon, probably a little bit sooner than most people anticipated these tournaments to take place, since the nationals traditionally would happen from May to July. Now we do have the tournament in December, right after the launch of Pokemon Sun and Moon, which come to the world on 18th of November and to Europe on 23rd of November, which is yeah a little bit unfortunate that the tournament is being held in Europe, while Europe is the only region that gets the game a little bit later. Could be a little bit unfair towards Europeans if say there is some parts of the story that are really difficult to play through or that take quite a lot of time. Like just imagine EV training works differently now, and you have to invest a lot of time, or you have to train all your Pokemon to level 100 in order to be able to IV train them, because Pokemon Bank won't be out until January, so you can't just transfer over your IV Pokemon and breed with them. So I can see some implications there that maybe Europeans might have a little bit of a harder time to just get the mons in the game. But yeah, in terms of preparation, like if stuff is leaked online, you can of course already think about your potential strategies going into next season. Of course, we don't know what the format will be exactly, but it's pretty safe to expect, in my opinion at least, that all of the Pokemon from the Alolan decks will be allowed. So you can, I don't know, try to come up with some crazy strategy with Instruct already, or with Receiver, the new ability and move that were revealed in the latest trailer, and whatever. Just think about it, and then once the format is there, you can already break it for the first tournament and do really well there. But moving on, yeah, as for the championship points payout, it is, yeah, pretty wide. For like the difference between first, second, and top 4 is 100 championship points each. Then it moves down to 60 difference, and then it's 40. So like The top finish really gets a decent bonus of championship points, which is pretty cool in my opinion. But it also means that if you get top 8 at one of those tournaments, you're still in reach of everyone that got top 4 or second place. So yeah, I think I'm pretty satisfied with the CP payout here. But probably the biggest impact that these tournaments will have on the way our championship points work this season is the best finish limit is 4. Okay, so last season it was all the way down to 1, and people in Europe were not that happy about it because we wanted to see like 2 maybe, because traditionally in Europe you would always travel to all of those national tournaments, or at least 2, and then play there to stack up your championship points. But now it's up to 4. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there will be 4 international championships. There could be more, there could be less in theory, but I think 4, since we also know that we have 4 different rating zones in US and Canada, Europe, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. So there are 4 different rating zones, meaning that it is likely that there will be 4 international championships. However, we do not have confirmation that. I mean, there will probably definitely be one in the US, and then yeah, we expect one to be in, I don't know, like Australia, and maybe one in Brazil, for example. But yeah, we will find about that. We will find out about that at a future point in time, I guess. So talking a little bit more about the championship points you can get here. Getting 500, getting first place already nets you your day 1 invitation. However, if you get first place at international championships, chances are that you want to go for that day 2 invitation. So yeah, all I have to say about this is that I'm really satisfied with it. And however, yeah, like you can just like, okay, what people did in previous years was they would just show up for nationals, or like, they would play like some tournaments that were really convenient for them, and then show up in nationals, get a top 32 invitation there, or a top 32 placement there, and then they would have their invitation for Worlds Day 1. However, this season, if you get top 16, for example, at one of these international championships, you only have 180 championship points out of 500 you would need, so you definitely have to play in more tournaments in order to be able to qualify for Worlds. But yeah, we will come to more to another thing that impacts that in just a bit when talking about mid-season showdowns. But yeah, it's not that convenient. You can't just go like show up to your international championship and get the invite for Worlds. You have to play throughout the season to be able to get to day 1, which is something that I think they want to encourage with this the CP payout here, and also the CP bar. So the kickers is also interesting because it means that I don't think we will be able to reach 1,024 participants. So, and even 512, to be honest, might be a little bit difficult to get. So, depending on how many people show up, there is a chance that, like, say, the 65th place does not get any CP, which in my opinion is also pretty fair, since there were tournaments in the past where top 128 would get championship points, but that is just a little bit like, eh. Like, you just show up with a competitive team and play well that day, and then you will get CP no matter what. And then what you could do back in the day is just travel to all of the national events and then do mediocrely at each of them, and then you would have like a load, like a ton of CP. But that doesn't work anymore. You have to actually do well. So yeah, moving on, that is kind of cool in my opinion. And as for the prizes, of course, cash money is on the line. We were hyped about $50,000 being put into regionals. I was one of the people who was a little bit more of like, okay, like let's just wait for a second, see what the official payout will be, how everything will work, because of course, if you are hyped for something too much, then you might be disappointed a little bit. So this is what it looks like for international championships in the video game. So London, 9th to 11th December, depending on how many people show up, which is a little bit unfortunate in my opinion. Like, just imagine there are 499 players and you get first place, and then you get $2,000 less just because one person missing. I mean, that's just something like, I don't know. It makes sense for the juniors and seniors, since if there is fewer than 33 players in one age division, there won't be any prize money at all. And then depending on how many people show up, the prize money will increase. I do like the fact that juniors just don't get, like, say, $3,000 just for showing up, because we had tournaments in Europe where there was only like one senior or like one junior, I don't know. and I'm not a fan of giving free out prizes to those people, but I would have preferred to see that money going towards Masters a little more, because basically what we're seeing here is that the international championships, which were said to have, I think, $200,000. I'm not sure. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's from somewhere else. But um, basically, it all depends on how many people show up, how much money you can win. If there's over 500 people, then I think the payout looks fine. First place gets 500. First place gets 5K, which is pretty neat for first place. Same as U.S. Nationals had last year. Which is kind of cool. And then all the way down to top 16, you would get money. So I think, yeah, that is fine. But I do think that 227 to 499, which is probably a little more likely, that is, I wouldn't say disappointing, but a little bit below expectations, especially for an international championships. I will compare the prices to what the TCG gets in a second. Also, we get a bunch of booster packs if you do well, and yeah, the top 16 will always get booster packs regardless of attendance. So maybe it would have made a little bit more sense to add another category between 227 and, I don't know, like 400 people, or I don't know, because reaching 500, I don't know, maybe with Sun and Moon that's super easily possible, and also something else, people from other countries will have a chance to participate at these, since they will get help with travel awards and money if they did well in previous seasons. But I don't know. It's not like it's not the very big thing, and everyone who plays Pokemon competitively can now quit their job or drop out of school and just play Pokemon anymore. Yeah, but yeah, if you win, fine. You get quite a decent amount of money. But if you don't win, then whatever. Okay, moving on here. Yeah, as I mentioned already, it specifically says it's for the European International Championships. So it's no confirmation whether that also applies for other potential international championships that will be coming. But yeah, the top 4 of CP rankings from last year from the different rating zones will get a trip to London to participate there, and then the top 8 and in the TCG the top 16 will also get $1,000 travel stipend, which is pretty cool. Flying out people from other rating zones to make this international championships really feel international. Yeah, it's of course cool for the people that qualify for these stipends, but also it feels a little bit random, because of course no one, not even the people who qualified for these stipends, they didn't have any idea when they were playing last season that they would get these stipends. And also, for example, people that were already in the top 16, which back then was the only thing that we thought mattered in Europe, once they had confirmed their spot in the top 16, of course they didn't try to play for getting up another place within the top 16, because there was no benefit from that. So I feel a little bit sorry for like the 9th place, for example, or also the 5th place, who probably could have played a little bit more in a little bit more tournaments, or they could have played I don't know, like could have just played more to climb another place within the top X, whatever you needed for the day 2, but they didn't think it was necessary and was helpful for them. So I don't know. Also, of course, I would have liked to see the top, say top 4 or top 8 from Worlds being flown out here, but yeah, for whatever reason they didn't think that that was necessary. So I am stuck all alone with my day 1 invite, which doesn't really help me too much, and also no travel to London. However, of course, fortunately, London is pretty accessible for me. But for example, for Wolf, who won Worlds, now he already has the trip to Worlds next year, but only the day 1 invite. So I don't know. I just would have preferred that over the top X finishers, or the top 8 from the different rating zones. But or in addition to that, or whatever. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, check back for information about travel awards to future Pokemon International Championship events. So there is definitely, in my opinion, a pretty high chance that there will be more of these travel awards. And something really interesting, in my opinion, that could be potentially dangerous is the fact that now that people are being flown out to these international championships, if we go back to the championship points that you can get from international championships, if you are, say, from the US and you finished in the top 4 in CP rankings last season, you can get bonus CP from playing in London, and then you go back to your circuit, you play those tournaments there, and if you do well with those bonus CP, you should be able to qualify for a travel award to the next international or wherever that is being held. For example, in Australia. So then you can snowball and line up those trips consecutively if you always do well at the international championships you participate in. Whereas other people, for example, like the 9th place in a rating zone that was not awarded one of those travel awards, for them it would be really difficult to fly out to London on their own money, and then yeah, so that is something. It will be interesting to seeing whether that will happen, or whether yeah, people in their respective rating zones are able to just yeah, up them with better regional finishes or whatever. But yeah, it's a cool change. But yeah, we will see how it will impact the season. So besides, now let's compare the prize to the trading card game. Of course, I know that is not the very cleverest thing to compare with the trading card game, but I do think that it is still interesting to see what the Pokemon Company International believes is something like, if they think it's worth putting money in the trading card game, we can probably take some conclusions for the video game. For future seasons, just in general, how interested they are to make a circuit competitive and so on. So while we definitely do not share the same game and it's a different game, and they probably make way more money selling the cards to the players than selling the games to the players of the video game, and the video game basically sells no matter what, because it's fun just playing the story, whereas the card game, I mean, sure, some people just get them to collect them and to trade them and maybe play their friends, but the competitive scene is what keeps it interesting for those players to purchase the newer cards and for them to open boosters and whatnot or whatever. I'm not a marketing expert on the trading card game and how it operates, but just seeing here, okay, basically, if we, for example, if we reach 250, or say we reach 400 players for the international championships in the video game, the winner gets 3,000. If they reach 300 players for the trading card game, the winner gets 10,000. And I think 227, I'm not totally sure on numbers, but I'm pretty sure that they will reach that. So for London, if you're playing the trading card game, you should be, if you win, you probably will get $10,000. Whereas in the video game, you will probably get either 3,000 or 5,000. I mean, if you win, you're probably happy no matter what, and that is cool. But yeah, it's just interesting seeing how much more they put into the trading card game, because not only do they put more for the first place, but also it goes way further down. For example, the 64th place will still get $500, which should be able to cover for your trip if you are from Europe. So if you go there on your own money and you finish in the top 64, you should still be able to get back whatever you invested, as well as like championship points, prizes, and so on, like cards and whatnot. Okay, no, actually you don't get any cards since only the top 32 get cards, but yeah, whatever. And also they get like a lot more cards. Of course, they can only also use them a little bit better. But yeah, so I'm of course I'm satisfied with money being put into the circuit either way. But yeah, seeing the trading card game just topping what the video game has to offer by a large margin once again is, of course, I don't know, just take from that, take whatever you think you want to take from this. For me personally, I will of course stick to the video game, but yeah, and I wish, of course, all my friends for the trading card game good luck to catch that $10,000 prize. So that is the internationals, and we are already 34 minutes into this video, so I will just try to speed up a little bit for regionals. The regional CP payout is similar in a way that there's big difference between the first and the second place, big, so to say, 40 points, and then it gets less, it's 20 points, but then there is a cut from top 16, which in my opinion makes a lot of sense. Top 16 is a decent result at a regional championship, and top 32, it depends on the size. Yeah, like if there's a ton of players, if there's over 128 players, you will get 50 CP, which is cool. It's 10% of what you need to in order to get a day 1 invite, but yeah, it's nothing that really helps you too much towards a 2 invite, if that makes too much sense. So I think it makes a lot of sense for smaller tournaments or smaller regionals that only have, say, 100 players. There, the top 32 won't get any points. So for me, being a European, of course, the two tournaments I'm interested the most at the moment are Dortmund and Liverpool. Actually, I should have put them the other way around since Liverpool is happening earlier, whatever. Liverpool happening from 5th to 6th November, and Dortmund Regional Championships happening from 19th to 20th November. Both of those will be played under VGC17, of course. So, the best finish limit is 4, and it's shared with select premier events, which is something I will talk about in a little bit. And once again, I do like the fact that top 32 regionals is not something that gives you too many points anymore. However, then again, if you fly out, say, to Liverpool and then you finish 17th, you would probably be really upset. But we will see how this works. And also, yeah, now is probably the time to talk about the difference between the US and Europe in terms of regional championships. In the US, the regional championships will be operated under the tournament organizers, whereas in Europe, at least those two, in Dortmund, it will be held by Amigo, which is the company that hosted German nationals the past couple of years. And in Liverpool, it will be hosted by the Tournament Center EU, is I think what they go to. They have quite a couple of different links there. But yeah, that is a company that hosts Magic the Gathering Grand Prix tournaments all over in Europe. And they charge 35 euros just for attending there. And on the website, as of now, there was no indication of any goodies, like any, I don't know, like mats or packs, booster packs or whatever being given out to the competitors in the video game. So 35 euros is, of course, quite a lot of money. So I will be there in Liverpool. So if you are there, just come on up and say hi to me, because I definitely want to play some more VGC16 because it's a cool format in my opinion, and I want to get some of those championship points, obviously. But yeah, it's the same location that where Nationals was held, so it's a cool location and cool place. Like nothing crappy. So yeah, if you play 35 euros for a tournament, that's at least I would expect, just having a nice location. But we will see how this works out. How many people will show up? I don't know. For Dortmund, there was no entry fee announced yet, but it is to be announced. And also, by the way, for the US, there's also a huge list on Pokemon.com for, I think, all the regionals that are happening in the US. They are all already in the list and all announced, and you can check them out there and play in their tournaments, and yeah, good luck for that. So, regionals, of course, also have those prizes, those 50k regionals I mentioned earlier. However, once again, that only applies if there is maximum attendance in all age divisions. So, yeah, regionals in Europe, I think, would mostly fall in the category from 65 players to 226. I would be surprised if we managed to get more than 226. Definitely not in Dortmund or Liverpool, in my opinion. Maybe for Sun and Moon, more people show up, but yeah, if you win a regional, basically you get 1,000 most likely, and also some booster packs for the trading card game. Those bigger regionals, they would probably apply for the US. There you get 3,000 for first place. And then there's a really sharp cutoff between first and second place and the rest. Third to 16th place, for example, if there's only over 500 people at regional for whatever reason, probably only realistic in the US and maybe Australia. Yeah, there's no change in prize money. You get 250, which is a little bit unfortunate in my opinion. I think that could have been distributed a little bit more equally, so that, for example, if you finish top 4 at a big regional, then you should probably have something for your money and not only be able to partly cover for the trip. Since, yeah, chances are that you flew there and had a hotel or shared a room and you paid money for that, and then you only get 250 for a top 4 finish, but you also get a lot of CP, and then potentially you could be able to get an award to fly out to a international championship. So, I don't know. It's decent money, definitely, but it's not what some people expected when they heard that there was $50,000 being put into those regionals. But if you're one of those lucky people that is able to qualify for an award to, say, Australia International Championships, then of course you don't really care too much about the money because the experience is way better. So, and then comparing these to the trading card game as well, for the trading card game, If there is 227 players, you get $5,000. So you get yeah, I will compare the trading card game regional payout to the video game international payout in just a second. But also the same thing applies here. The hard card of between the finalists and the top four. So if you get second place at a say 227 people regional, you get 2,500. But if you get third place, you only get 10% of that in 250. So I'm not entirely sure what they were thinking there. Maybe they just did not want the top four to get money from those tournaments. So like, I mean, those 250, it basically like looks, it says to me like, okay, like that covers for your expenses, like that covers for your trip there, for your hotel, your airfare, and whatever else you want to do there. But it doesn't, you won't gain any money. Like if you finish second place, yes, then you will have like 2,000 extra dollars over what you spent to get there. But yeah, I don't know. It also, by the way, it always says subject to change, so maybe there will still be some changes. But at this point, of course, we don't know. Yeah, we will see how the money thing works, whether you can just like get it and how much taxes there will be deduction and stuff like that. But yeah, that is a topic for another day, I guess. So yeah, long story short, regionals for the trading card game get more, way more, get way more. But it all really comes down to how big the tournament is to say how much money people can get. Basically, for me, yeah, I'm only expecting like 200 is probably the maximum outside of Spain, probably, but we will see about that. So maybe there will be some $3,000 regionals in Europe for the video game, and maybe there will be some $2,500 regionals for the trading card game. Moving on, as I said, I want to compare the trading card game regional prizes with the video game international prizes, because that is interesting in my opinion, seeing as, yeah, they use the same categories in terms of attendance, and for each and every category the trading card game gets more than the video game. And yeah, note once again that is a regional championship for the trading card game versus an international championship for the video game. So only for 500 plus they share the same amount of money, because the regional for the trading card game doesn't increase anymore. But yeah, like if you get first place at a 300 people international championship for the video game, you get $3,000, and if you get first place at a 300 people TCG regional, you get $5,000. So that's 2,000 difference. I'm not sure how many 300 people regionals we will have in Europe, but it's definitely an interesting trend to see here. And yeah, once again, just trading card game getting more support, which is fair, but it's just something to note and point out. Maybe you want to make the switch over to the trading card game. And is there anything else to talk about? Oh yeah, they also get like a bunch more, like a ton more boosters, because video game also doesn't get a lot of booster packs, but whatever, who cares about those anyway. And then besides, yeah, the top 64 gets boosters there. That's pretty neat actually. That's more than at the internationals. Whatever. Okay, sorry. Anyway, now mid-season showdowns. Big story of this season potentially. They will have a best finish limit of 4, and they won't share that with the regionals whatsoever. So basically, any mid-season showdown you attend, you just get bonus CP. So this is probably the point where I want to talk about why I feel that this circuit is so much different to the one we had before. Before, you had your best finish limits for Premier Challenges, Regionals, and Nationals, and it was clear that everyone who was in contention for Day 2 would fill up all of them. Everyone who was in contention for Day 2 had their, like, for example, even me who didn't play at Nationals, I had, like, first place, top 8 at Regionals. Others had, like, top 4, top 8. In, like, Joseph Richardson, he had first place. You can't top that. So it was clear you would have to have a very, very strong best finish limit on those regionals. I knew, like, some people, they had a top 16 in their best finish limit. They had, like, first place, top 8, top 16 or something, and then they felt like, oh, top 16, that's not good enough, because I need to make sure that I get every single point, so they would attend another tournament and try to get more points there. So what this allows this season, best finish limit of 4 for regionals, 4 for mid-season showdowns, that's 8 potential tournaments already. So if you want to play for Day 2, you do not have to fill that up. You can play say 2 internationals instead if you want to spend your money that way. So last year it felt a lot like you had to play all Premier Challenges you could play to make sure that you could have the maximum amount of points, 6 first places, and then the year before you wanted 5 first places in Premier Challenges. This year, I don't know. I will probably play a couple of them, but I don't really care if I get first place or second place or top 4. I just need I would just want some bonus points, because the big points, they will come from regionals, they will come from the internationals, and that is where you can gain a lot of points. If you win a ton of Premier Challenges, but then you attend one less regional or less mid-season showdowns, then that doesn't really help you. So you could either try to fill all of your best finish limit and spend the whole year playing Pokemon, traveling around, spending all your money on that. If it's something you want to do, sure, go ahead. But for me, I think I want to try to see which tournaments I can reach conveniently, and then when I go there, I want to place well there, place well. For example, at a mid-season showdown, as long as you place in, say, the top 16, you get 30 points or more. That is fine. I would be satisfied with that. If I show up to a mid-season showdown and I get top 8, that's 35 points. That's more than getting first and second place at a Premier Challenge in one season, because they have new best finish limit that'll be up right after this, I think. So basically, mid-season showdowns, they offer you the opportunity to gain some extra points. Now, for people that are playing for day 1, of course, that also means just playing 4 mid-season showdowns. You don't have to play 6 mid-season showdowns and try to win 4 of them. It doesn't make too much sense. It doesn't really improve your points that much. All you need to do is look or wait for mid-season showdowns to be announced near your place, and then see if you can go to them. If you can go to them, cool. Go there, have fun, meet your friends, play there, and then you will get points. Not no matter what, but you will get a couple of points. It also goes down even further, but I removed the kickers because I don't think that there will be any mid-season showdowns with over 128 players, but maybe it'll prove me wrong. So yeah, my message to everyone who's considering going to all the tournaments, flying outside of country for mid-season showdowns, I don't know, please think about it twice. Maybe you have some more valuable things to do instead of that. But of course, if it's fun for you, no, don't get me wrong, definitely go ahead and play as many tournaments as you can. But I think this year's season is just meant to be a little bit more focused about the fun parts of Pokemon. As for it's not like you are forced to play in those tournaments. You can do whatever you want. Okay, now with that being out of the way, we will tackle the Premier Challenges as our last topic here, our second to last topic. There are 3 different seasons, which is interesting, and only your 2 best finishes per season will count towards your final CP. Now, first place gets 20 points, second place gets 14. That changes a little bit. If there are over 40 people, then it's an elevated PC, but I left that out. You can look that up on Pokemon.com. And now, what this means is that basically you can just finish your best finish limit for PCs already, in the old format, which happened last year. I remember I had so many Premier Challenges finishes. I had 4 finishes from 15, and then I only needed 1 or 2 more for 16, or maybe I had even more. I don't even remember. But yeah, many people had so many points from the old format already, and now what this means is that there will be one series, the Autumn series, that will play under the VGC16 rules, and then the next 2 series will play under the VGC17 rules on Sun and Moon. So once again, Premier Challenges, yeah, you can just try and have fun, go to the events, whatever you can do. Tournament organizers only can host 1 Premier Challenges per month nowadays, so that also changed, which could be interesting for areas where there's not too many TOs that are not as active. But yeah, we will see how things will work out. And then last but not least, there is also the select online competitions. So online competitions now do not have a best finish limit. The last couple of years, there were 3 tournaments of those. So we can expect, say, 2 to 4 of those online competitions again. Maybe even more if they want to focus around that. But yeah, I think 3 is probably the amount that we could expect. And there, if you place really well there, that is obviously a very great achievement, and you will get a ton of CP, similar to what a mid-season showdown looks like. So it's definitely worth taking those serious and participating there, and also making sure that you have good Wi-Fi so you don't disconnect. So that is a cool change. Also, again, you don't have to get first place at all the online competitions you play. You can just play them, get some bonus CP, and have fun with it. You know what I mean? You are not forced to participate in any of these tournaments, which is something that I feel like a lot of people forget over the years. And then, now this is something I'm really curious about, select premier events. Now, the regional term is now bonded to the prize money, so wherever there's a regional, there will also be the prize money. So, maybe there are some occasions where you don't want to, or where they don't want a region, or like, I don't know, where there is a big tournament but there's no prize money involved. So it could be a mid-season showdown, but then maybe mid-season showdowns are a little bit lame for players, potentially. So here are select premier events. Now, these events take place outside the standard championship series, and they are meant for example, gaming conventions or as standalone events scheduled. So that sounds kind of interesting. So they share the same best finish limit with regionals, but since that is so high at 4, chances are that you will probably only attend like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 regionals, but you can definitely gain some extra points here at those premier events. And yeah, we don't know too much about them. Maybe they could be at like big conventions, or in like as part of bigger tournaments, which also says so. For example, at nationals, they could be one of those premier events. It's not a regional, so maybe the players that are still in the top cut, for example, they won't be too upset when everyone else can get some extra CP, because it will be shared with the regionals. But why I want to stress that these could be interesting is because it also states that the format may not be the same. So that could mean that maybe it only applies for the trading card game, or maybe it's a term borrowed from the trading card game, because there they have 2 different formats, which is one is standard, one is expanded. So it could mean that like if there's a regional tournament in the standard format, there could also be a premier event in the expanded format, or maybe that's where the term came from. I don't know. But it could also mean that for the video game, maybe there will be tournaments that get CP that are not the current VGC rule set. They could be anything. They could be VGC16. They could be single battles. They could be triple battles. They could be roulette. I don't know. We don't know. Maybe they're all VGC17. We don't know about them. But there is definitely a chance that there might be tournaments in the next year's season that have different formats, which is kind of cool in my opinion. But yeah, we will see about that. It's no confirmation at all. Maybe it's just from the trading card game, but or maybe they just wanted to list it as to make sure that there's no confusion that those events won't have the same amount of prizes. I don't know. Or maybe the format also is meant to suggest that it is for, like, maybe those tournaments could be single elimination and not Swiss. So yeah, that's also a possibility that they are always like single elimination. So that's what format means. But that's finally it. Now I covered all the different championship points payouts. Thanks for watching. As a summary, I would say the next season can definitely be a chance for everyone who wants to take Pokemon a little bit more serious. You can potentially, if there's internationals in Asia or Australia, maybe that could be interesting. Also Latin America. I want to go there. I definitely want to go there. I want tournaments to be there. I want big tournaments to be there, and I want to go there. So hopefully those will be announced soon, so everyone can plan their travels. But before that, there will be, for me at least, there will be Liverpool, Dortmund, and then London. So those 3 tournaments are what I'm looking at for this year at least, and then whatever next year means. The date for London is a little bit unfortunate, as I mentioned, for Europeans, but also something I wanted to point out is, like, think about it. Maybe they wanted the tournament to be like right after the Sun and Moon launch, and then there is not too many possibilities. There is the weekend where it's held, the 10th and 11th, and then 1 week later there would be 16th to 18th potentially of December, but maybe for whatever reason they couldn't take that date. And then after that, there would already be like Christmas holidays, and people would probably be busy with family, and then there's like New Year's Eve and so on. So maybe that was the only date they could realistically do it, right after the launch of Sun and Moon. So it's an interesting idea, in my opinion. It might be tough for the players to have like strong teams ready for the tournament. By the way, also quite a few people from Japan are looking into coming. Really looking forward to that. And then of course friends from Australia, from Southeast Asia, from Latin America, from the US. It'll be a cool tournament. There should probably also be a stream, so even if you can't make it, I guess at least, I mean, it would be a really wasted opportunity if they didn't. With Sun and Moon being launched, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I will see you in Liverpool, Dortmund potentially, and in London, of course. And yeah, let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on the circuit. Will you participate? Was this video too long? Why was it too long? Yeah, it was definitely too long. I don't know. I didn't think it would be that long, but it was fun recording once again. What type of content do you want to see on my channel in the future? And yeah, that's it. So if you watched all the way through 1 hour, wow, that's so long. Whatever. I won't waste any more of your time now. Have a good day. See you soon, and goodbye.